Got a nice new pile of trash against the side of the house here. This is my window barricade. It helps keep out some of the EMF or possibly ion rays or possibly both that are shot from the neighbor's house, from the windows, or from possibly the soffit on the top. But it makes a very noticeable difference. I can feel pain in my back, and it's definitely coming from this window here, like from an outside source being shot into the window. So I've had to just pile this crap here until I can build something a little better. This is just all my junk that was lying around in the garden shed area. And also it keeps a line of sight it keeps out the line of sight from my bed. So you can't just look in or point a weapon in there or just stand at the side of my house while I try and sleep at night and utter threats and act like a freak show. It's what these gang stalkers like to do. Basically, most of my time is spent doing shit that I do not want to do because of the people who harass me. Like my landlord. Unfortunately, I don't even drink the water here anymore. I don't even touch the water. I try not to touch it with my hands. So that is another huge time waster in my life. Trying to keep water supply all the time. And I've offered a reasonable solution, but as usual, my landlords completely ignore it. I want a T-pipe cut into the water supply of the house, which is just in the corner of my apartment. And it would take about $30 an hour or two of work to give me a water supply directly from the inlet without running all through the house through piping that some crazy crackhead did here. So keeping a water supply. So you got all my junk lying around in the backyard. All this stuff was stored nicely in the garage, but anything in the garage gets played with by psychopaths. Right when I was clearing out the garage a couple months ago, there was something caustic on everything in the garage. Because when I was done cleaning the garage and I washed my hands, basically my cuticles washed off my fingernails, and that's a problem with the water in this place too. If I'm constantly using the water and washing my hands in the tap water, then like the cuticles around my fingernails will just disappear and start receding. But so I have to find water elsewhere. I've been using bottled water, refillable bottles as well from the grocery store. And I go to the park where the waterworks is, and I use the bottle filling station there to fill up 4-liter bottles to bring home. So yeah, it's a big waste of time. And it's actually not that bad. Like for my shower routine is heating up between 1.5 and 4 liters of water, maybe 5 or 6 liters on a luxury shower. But I just heat it up in a pan and take a coffee cup shower. Just keep emptying the cup on my head. It's actually quite efficient and keeps me very clean. Takes a bit of practice, but you get used to not having a standard shower. So that's another time waster. And what else? Had to buy a new vehicle battery today because my vehicle has been broken into repeatedly. I wonder if my car keys on me. Yeah, my vehicle has been broken into repeatedly by the neighbors, by gang stalkers, by my landlords, and the electronics have been hacked so that when I leave the vehicle and take the keys out, there's still electronics running for hours or days. It's remote controlled, so they can kind of mess with it. I've even had proof of that shown to the police, but they don't really care. During one of my police encounters out front of the house, I noticed when we were standing about 50 feet away from my car, just the angle, you could see that the instrument cluster was still backlit, but I hadn't touched the vehicle in 2 days. So yeah, they screwed my vehicle. I had to install a battery disconnect switch to make it usable at all, even though it's still pretty fucked. So yeah, when I get out of the vehicle, I have to flip the battery disconnect switch. That'll prevent my vehicle from being drained. It also adds a little bit of security because it disables the electronic locks, and that is a common way of a thief gaining entry to your vehicle, is by using an electronic device to steal the wireless key. When you hit the button next to your car, they'll be standing 20 feet away with their scanner device, and they will scan your key code, and then they will program it into their own key fob. So they'll have a key fob to open your vehicle. Maybe in some situations they could even have a key fob that would start your vehicle. So yeah, the battery disconnect adds security because then you need the physical key to open the door. Not saying it's a bulletproof solution or anything, but it does add some security. And my electronics in the car are a little messed up in other ways too. Like I can't imagine how much time they've spent screwing with my vehicle while I sleep at night. But there are some performance issues, and when you install a battery disconnect switch and you're frequently disconnecting the power to all the modules, that makes them clear their memory. So every time you start the vehicle, the powertrain control module will take on a learning process for all your engine specifics. Like all the variables that an engine has from the different sensors, it kind of recalibrates all that stuff. So it's almost like clearing the cookies in your browser. I'm no auto mechanic. I have worked in shops for a few years, but and I'm no computer expert, but it makes sense in my mind, clearing the cookies and turning off the battery for your vehicle. It seemed to help my vehicle perform a little better. So yeah, all the things that I waste my time doing. Filming the neighbors who are constantly doing all sorts of criminal activity around this neighborhood. Not something I want to do. Uploading videos to YouTube. Not something I want to do. Listening to stuff like that. My evil neighbor 2 doors down barking. And having the people in the back alley yelling threats over the fence all the time. Having people follow me around. Like that guy at the auto parts store today who showed up just when I opened my hood to boost the battery, and stood there for 5 or 6 minutes watching me boost the battery while he talked on the phone and pointed his camera at me. Then as soon as I started the vehicle, he went in the store, and what did I say to him? I said, disappointing, huh? Because I think he was expecting that the car wouldn't start again. And he just muttered, "You're going to regret that." One of the things that gang stalkers around here like to utter the same phrases repeatedly. I always hear them saying, "You're going to regret that." And I have tons of recordings of these assholes saying the same thing over and over again. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then if you confront them about it, they just pretend like nothing happened. Or they act like your best friend. "Hey there, stranger. What are you talking about? I'm unaware of everything." So, yeah, it's intended to make your life frustrating, but I know for them, they absolutely hate their lives following me around and spending their time uttering threats. I mean, is that really what they want to be spending their time doing? I don't think so. This is not what I want to spend my time doing. Yeah. So, rant over. I mean, if you are experiencing the same things that I'm experiencing, feel free to ask questions. Like, it's basically like a life sentence of constant problems to deal with, legal troubles. Yeah, that's the other thing I spent a ton of time doing, is recording evidence of how my landlord has completely destroyed this house and abuses me or manipulates me, orchestrates events, has made so many false accusations, saying that I destroyed the electrical panel by using 6 electric heaters. And she uploaded pictures of the electrical panel that used to be in the garage, and it had big burn marks on the grounding bars. But I also uploaded a video of that exact same electrical panel being uninstalled, and the grounding bar was nice and shiny and good looking when the electrician pulled it off the wall, like 15 minutes after I filmed that video. And the electrician was even in the video, so it's just absurd, like the accusations that I get around here. And also I've discovered just through, I guess, observation and intuition that the electrical panel in the garage is actually a dummy panel. It really doesn't do anything. I had been recording all sorts of evidence of how they were stealing electricity, and that's when they decided to finally do some maintenance around here and get a new electrical panel. So I had been like monitoring the watt meter on the side of the house and like doing my own little tests of, flipping on different combinations of devices and seeing how it compared to the reading on the watt meter on the side of the house. And it never made any sense. Like I could be running like 3,000, 3,500 watts in the house, and it would say 1,500 watts on the meter outside. And it just never made sense, and it was inconsistent. And also the EMF emitting devices that are hidden in this home, they initially seem to turn off, or at least dissipate, when I've turned off all the electricity in the house. But that didn't last long because, like I said, that panel is a dummy panel, and there's a second panel for electricity in the upper apartment, which is illegal, and I've never actually seen it, but I know it's there just from living in this house for 8 years and knowing how houses work and making so many complaints to the police where they offer no solutions. I mean, they really should look in the upper apartment, but they never have. I've even I've uploaded proof that my landlord broke into the apartment. I have an audio recording of me leaving the house and returning 5 minutes later, and you can hear someone pull the pins out of the interior door, pull the pins out of the hinge, and then open the door backwards and walk down the stairs into my apartment. And then someone in the recording says he's coming, as in I'm returning home, because they're monitoring what I do. So I was only gone for about 4 or 5 minutes, and they broke in. I managed to find that recording, and actually when I got home I realized that someone was upstairs, so I went out front, and my landlord was leaving the driveway next door. She also owns the house next door. The upper apartment here is empty. The upper apartment next door is empty. Well, the entire house next door is empty. So I got 2 empty houses here owned by the same landlord. And she's trying to kick me out because, well, many reasons, but her latest reason is because she wants her son to move in here. But you can't have someone move into an apartment that has a destroyed HVAC system that is full of an inch of dust in the vents that makes people sick, and tap water that's undrinkable, endless other problems. I mean, even just with the fire code, the window's not big enough to be a legal fire exit, so it's not a legal apartment. This apartment was never registered, so all the construction downstairs is illegal. I've ordered 2 city inspections of this place, and they've dropped by here twice. Really didn't look at anything. And then the city's been communicating with my landlords, telling them that they have the option to demolish the place or to register the apartment. So they're twisting those truths around at the LTB as well, saying that they've been ordered to demolish the apartment, but the truth is they've been ordered to choose between demolishing or registering the apartment. But registering the apartment in reality would mean, taking off the drywall, inspecting all the piping and electrical lines, and you pretty much have to destroy half the apartment to do a real inspection. And in my opinion, even if they want a demo permit, the city should still inspect everything and tear this place apart, figure out what they've done, what fines they deserve, which should be a hell of a lot. The city doesn't want to issue these people fines. I don't know why. This is, in my opinion, a crack house. But as soon as I started recording evidence of all that and using an air quality meter in the house to test the areas where the chemical smell leaks in, they turned on a fan upstairs so that they added some negative pressure. So now the areas that used to smell 24/7 are not as bad. But that's what they do. They just constantly change my environment. They're just trying to make my life hell. And now I'm making their life hell. They've uploaded so much evidence at the landlord-tenant board that contradicts itself, saying they owe $633,000 on the house in one document that they uploaded. And in another document they uploaded, they said they pay $970 a month for this place. And then in another document, they say that figure actually includes the utilities as well, or the taxes and insurance, and all this other shit. So in reality, they're claiming that their mortgage is $800 a month, and they owe $633,000. So is that because they're just lying? Or if that's true, that's even more disturbing, because how is someone borrowing $633,000 and only paying $800 a month? I'd find that even more disturbing than just the simple fact that they're lying about everything. So this it's been a huge waste of time living in this place. Don't move in to a house owned by psychopaths or communists or gangstalkers. I think that's about all the advice I have for today. Don't end up in my situation. That's the best advice I can give. Have a good day.